Good evening and welcome to The Caring View, the online social care chat show for everybody, creating a platform whether you work in care, whether you're receiving care, or whether you just want to help create a better social care sector. Before we start, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, find that bell so you're notified when we upload any new videos. And remember that the views we express tonight are of our own and not the companies we represent. So, I'm going to start off this evening. We've had the Beatles. We've had the Spice Girls. We've had Kerry Katona leave Atomic Kitten. Tonight, we are sad to say that Donna will be leaving the show after next week. I know. We've had a big fallout. She's not really been doing much behind the scenes. It's just been an absolute mess. And we're a bit tired of it, if we're honest. No, she's got a fantabulous new job that's going to take up literally 400% of the time. She's a newly wedded lady, so you can imagine that her time is being well spent. And the chat show just isn't manageable at the moment, unfortunately. So we will be down to the three of us, Mark, myself, and Dawn. We are going to continue. We have got wonderful guests lined up over the next couple of months. And it is going to be really exciting and really interesting. So tonight, we just wanted to be family. We just wanted the four of us to sit and reflect on the last 4 months of the show, what we've achieved so far, some of our favourite shows that we've done, and any of the news that's out there and about. If anyone wants to drop into the comments, say goodbye to Donna, or ask any questions, bring anything up that you want us to discuss, please feel free. Donna's very emotional, so please try and make her cry as well. It will make us feel better. So, yeah, over to you, Donna.
Yeah, I just want to say that, well, I am emotional because seriously, without these three guys here, I would not have got through the past 18 months. And that is the God's honest truth. So, yes, I have got a new job. In a way, it's thanks to the pandemic. The pandemic has made me realize that I want to help other managers. So I've been a nurse for 27 years and I've been a manager for sort of 20 years now, really, since 2002. And during the pandemic, I very luckily, and there is some lucky behind it, we were really successful in our home. And it made me realize that I wish that I could help more people. And part of that was, out of the Caring View show, really, that we've been able, and we really hope we've been able to, reach out to people and help people. So I have left my beloved Broomgrove. Well, not yet. I leave next Friday and start my new job on Monday the 16th. But I will be traveling around. I will be all over the place, helping other managers. So I don't know where I'm going to be. So it is going to be really, really hard for me to commit to doing every single Tuesday evening. It doesn't mean I'm going to disappear off the radar. You may well find me watching on a Tuesday night and posting comments. I will still be there haunting you and will still be part of, hopefully, the Facebook group as well. So I still want to be there for absolutely everybody, but it's going to be hard to commit. But yeah, if I want to reflect, even just literally, I actually can't believe, guys, that we've only been doing this for 4 months.
I know.
It is just bonkers. I feel that we've come so far. I mean, for all of you out there, it was literally, I think it was Adam who first mentioned it. Wouldn't it be amazing if we had a chat show? And we were all like, oh my God, yeah, that would be absolutely kind of fantastic. But it was very much pie in the sky. How on earth is it ever going to work? How, who's ever going to watch us? Who's going to want to? There's nothing like that out there. How are we going to do it? I've got to say, big shout out to Adam, because without him, we probably wouldn't, because he really is our techno guy. I mean, certainly me and Dawn, we were just like, what? We were like, we had no idea. I never heard of StreamYard in the absolute slightest. But honestly, I cannot believe where we have come in 4 months. And I really, truly wish you three the absolute best of luck. I know you're going to be amazing. And I know that even if you bring someone on board or don't bring someone on board, He's still going to carry on, and he's still being great. And I love the three of you to pieces. Mwah! And do you know what is so bizarre about this? We still haven't met up. That honestly, we literally know each other from kind of the waist upwards. We still haven't met up, but it will definitely happen at some point. There is no doubt about it. Definitely. So huge love to the three of you. And yes, I've got loads to reflect on, but I'll just hand over to somebody else for a moment. Thank you.
I'm just waiting for everyone to be fine so we can pull out the party poppers and celebrate.
Thanks.
I'm the child of the group. I'm allowed to spit my dummy out. I don't want you to go. I think it's going to be really, really sad. It's going to be difficult to get used to not having you here. We look forward to hearing your solo single. I'm sure the reason you're leaving is so you're going to go solo and do your own thing.
You've sussed it, haven't you? Sorry, guys. Yeah.
So, Mark, Dawn, Donna, what's new this week for us to discuss? No one will speak at once.
Well, I suppose there's been no news, has there, on the mandating the vaccine? There's been no guidelines of who's medically exempt, even though the time is ticking for care homes to get their staff double vaccinated. So, yeah, shout out.
Yeah, so the what's called?
Want to put it out?
Yeah, the 16-week grace period started 22nd of July, was it?
Yeah.
Or around then.
Yeah, so the 16-week grace period finishes on the 11th of November. So by the 11th of November, all staff have to have had 2 vaccines. So basically, they have to have had their first vaccine by the 16th of September. But like Mark said, it just feels, again, that we've been left till last. So they they signed it off and made it law on the 22nd of July. And here we are. It will actually, we're 2 weeks later. And we still haven't had, and let's be honest, we haven't had any information. We haven't even had an email from the Department of Health and Social Care saying it's been made law. We've had nothing. It's all been hearsay. It's all been from media. It's all been from the contacts that we have. We have had nothing official whatsoever. What we don't know is what these medical exemptions will be. There's been lots of gossip about it. There's been comments it will only be severe anaphylactic reactions to previous vaccines, or that it will only be allergies to the ingredients in the vaccine. But then I've had people say to me, well, we don't know what the ingredients in the vaccine are. Well, we do know what the ingredients in the vaccine are. They are, that has definitely been reported. But I've then had people saying, well, we don't know, we're allergic to it. But I kind of sort of say, I didn't know I was allergic to mussels and clams and stuff until I ate them. We never know we're allergic to something until it kind of happens. But it has put us in a difficult position, and the clock is ticking extremely fast for us to kind of sort of resolve this, really. So yeah, that kind of feels very situation normal that we are the last to know, even though it's us that's got to kind of sort of deal with it. And we're heading rapidly towards booster season when we're even meant to be having the booster vaccine as well. All of us had our very first vaccine back in January. Which seems kind of ages ago now. I can remember queuing out. I can remember sitting in that gazebo for 10 minutes, absolutely freezing in January. So, yeah, it's still quite a hot topic, and hopefully we will find out more sooner rather than later.
So, Dawn, your views on mandating the vaccine. For anyone who follows Dawn on Twitter, if you don't, go and follow her. She's full of wonderfully insightful information and quotes and information sharing. But Dawn is also in for a change and has left her position, or is leaving her position tomorrow. Is it, Dawn?
Yes. My last official day tomorrow. So I finish at 4:30. So I'm handing over to the deputy manager, and she's going to be taking over as of Thursday morning. So I think that the vaccines thing worries me. We had 99.9% at Iceni House. We were really lucky. Everybody wanted it. New Year's Eve last year, we were called. We were given 12, 13 hours notice to book appointments, get everybody in. And there wasn't one member of staff who turned it down. But what worries me is new people coming into the system, and we're trying to recruit, and we're trying to heavily recruit, and every care home is the same. I'm part of a Norfolk managers group. Everybody's got the same worries as far as recruitment and retention. So we're encouraging new people in. And like I said last week, I had somebody say, I haven't got to have my jab yet. I can start with you, and then I can make a decision on the 16th of September. Where does that leave everybody? Because it's left so open. So that's the main concern. If we don't get the guidance soon, and I know Parliament has broken up for their summer holiday, and they all need to go on their holiday trips and their ski trips and make babies and do whatever else they're doing, but there needs to be some priority. And if they're going to deem something as law, then put it on a piece of paper for us, because they've been quick enough to put everything else on a piece of paper or on an email on a Friday night at 9 o'clock. So I don't understand the hesitancy with it.
I agree, but it's just been like this all the way through, hasn't it? And it's been like this all the way through. They make a decision and then give us guidance and information last minute for us to make the decision. But you are completely right. If people are coming to apply in social care and going, well, we may have it, but I'm going to wait until the 16th, it does leave us in a precarious position. Do we discriminate at interview and go, well, I'm sorry, that's not good enough, we need full commitment now, otherwise we're not going to employ you, because cost, onboarding, induction, DBS, training, shadowing, for them to go on the 16th of September, actually, no, I don't want to.
I think the hardest bit is that I've only ever dismissed somebody from the job when they have committed gross misconduct. So even when somebody has done something wrong, we have a disciplinary process where they will receive a first written warning, or, a final written warning. They really have to basically put somebody to severe harm to be dismissed. And as a manager, and certainly my HR manager as well, it's sitting very difficult with us that we are having to terminate somebody's contract for extenuating circumstances because they won't have a vaccine. And it's like I say, I know we've had comments made on here. I am pro-vaccine. Please remember that. I am. All of us are. We are all pro-vaccine. We've all had it. We wish everybody would have it. We've seen the benefits of it. But I do still understand why some people are saying no. I do still understand the human rights bit. I really did think that we lived in a world where people could make their own choice and people didn't have to hide behind something if they were in the minority. I thought that's the world that we lived in. And I really, really hoped that when it was made law, it would be something like 90% of staff had to be vaccinated. I mean, come off it. 89% of my staff got vaccinated. That is a better percentage ever of any flu year we've ever had, ever. And we all know that flu kills people. We know that. It's fact. We've been there for years and years and years and years. It's this fact that I'm actually... Well, we did the show, didn't we, guys? We did that extra show, and we actually named it No Jab, No Job. And it is as black and white as that. We're not even making them redundant. We're not giving them a pay package afterwards. It literally is, you're out of a job. Well, in fact, actually, you're out of a career because you're never going to work as a carer ever again anywhere else. And I think that is what is so sad about it, especially at this time. We touched on it last week, how recruitment at the moment in health and social care is on such a tightrope. What have we got to entice people? I mean, Adam, you weren't here last week, but we actually did make the comment about, you made the comment on Twitter that you'd got some interviewers and people hadn't turned up. And I actually said, that isn't unusual. That is actually really, really common. So when we're already in such a difficult situation, it just feels like we're being battered on the head again. I
think, recruitment's such an odd one in a minute, because you say recruitment's people and they'll go, oh, well, recruitment's really easy. We put these adverts out and we get multiple people wanting to come to be marketing managers, and we get multiple people wanting to become and be recruiters. And yeah, that's fine. You're paying a ton of money with really good benefits in You know, of course you're going to get them. You'll need to hire one person. You know, we have to hire. I've got 5 positions available. I have 5 positions available. I was on TikTok the other day, and there was this huge thing Keir Starmer was doing. Blackpool's been left behind. No jobs are available for the young. There's nothing here. We can't do anything. Blah 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 blah. And don't get me wrong, you know, there could be more benefits and more options opened up here. I always joke about being up in the north, but the north is completely separated from the south. We are impoverished up here. It's crazy. But to say that there's no jobs up here is absolutely incorrect. There are the jobs up here. I just feel that at this moment in time, people won't work unless it's their ideal, perfect, chosen job. And I, you know, if I was out of work, I would do anything. You know, and they'll go, oh yeah, but these ambitious people, they shouldn't have to just do anything. Well, I'm sorry, if you're ambitious, you can turn any job you go into to be the best thing that you possibly can. You know, it sucks. It absolutely sucks. I bet everybody wants to be a world famous actor or the next Luther or CSI crime scene investigator or Iron Man. Do you know what I mean? I think everybody wants to have that perfect job, but they're just not available. And I'm going to sound awful by saying this. I do think there's a sense of entitlement now within society that actually I want to do what I want to do, and because I can't do what I want to do, it's someone's fault. And there's no jobs. And for social care, for people who don't work in social care, recruitment is at its all-time low. I do TikTok adverts, I do Instagram, I do Facebook, I do Twitter, I do website, I do carehome.co.uk, I do Indeed, I do photos, I do videos, I do team testimonials. You name it, we've tried it. I've targeted younger generations, older generations. I've targeted school parents. No matter what the gender, you know, we've gone and sandwich board and handed leaflets out in the streets and done leaflet drops and done printed media. The fact of the matter is, no one wants to work in social care, and until we address the reasons why, it's not going to change. And mandating the vaccine is just going to do one further thing of segregating the sector from the working population. As you can tell, it's really bugging me at the minute.
I think some of the problem is they've mandated it, but they've not given us anything. There's no additional funds to say, right, let's pay care workers more to join the industry. There's no additional perks. And, you know, the original stats were 40,000 extra job, you know, vacancies. But I saw a report, I think it was yesterday or the day before, from The Guardian that's now suggesting it'll be 70,000 additional job vacancies, which is absolutely insane.
So that's going to put us at nearly 200,000 vacancies within social care.
Yeah. And I don't think the government helps because they just belittle social care. So they almost make it like a job that you don't want to go into. It's a bit like when Priti Patel was talking about, you know, criminals or Boris or whoever it was, let's put them in, you know, in high-vis jackets and make them litter pick. Well, then you automatically degrade litter pickers, don't you? As if it's not a job worthy of, you know, anybody's time. And they just put everybody that's in those actual roles that keep the country going, that are actually, you know, vital roles for society. They put them all in that same bracket at the bottom of the list as if they're undervalued, unskilled, and then nobody wants to join doing it. But that's my 3 pence worth. Dawn, what do you think?
I think the problem we've got, even just before the pandemic, Priti Patel put care workers in that unskilled category. That was before everything that social care has been through the whole pandemic. So I think it just creates bigger milestones for people to come in on the recruitment basis and to come in and think of it as a career. Don't get me wrong, we had a lot of people working for us in the pandemic, and then they moved on when their jobs were unfurloughed or when they could go back to the office. And some of those were brilliant and were really good carers or really good in the kitchen and really good housekeepers. But the minute their jobs come back up, they left again. So I think it doesn't help when you're put in a box. And that's what she did in February. And then we had the pandemic and we've been put in other boxes and bigger boxes and bigger boxes. And you can't continue to shelve it. You can't, because it's negativity a lot of the time. And as much as we on social media and people like the IHSCM and the Care Forum and people try to be really pragmatic about it and be really focused on recruitment in social care, it's really difficult when people see it as just a job. it's something that they can do part-time, or if they don't see it as a career, they can't move in within, because there's not enough information sharing either. So I think we were categorized and boxed even before this all happened, and that hasn't helped the situation 18 months later.
Agree. Totally agree.
So what are the answers? I mean, Mark, you put it quite well there, talking about these jobs that people don't want to do. But if we think about it in let's forget the fact that we're dealing with people, even though we should never ever ignore the fact that what we do helps millions of people in this country live. I mean, there's 1.4 million people with unmet care needs that are needing care, and the services just aren't there to meet them. Let's forget the fact that we're changing lives and making people live longer and better, and aren't dying sad and lonely and unwell and in pain. Let's forget that for a second. Let's compare it to all the other jobs in society that people don't want to do, like your janitors, like your binmen, like anything that is unsavory that people don't want to do. If no one did them, society wouldn't tick over. Everybody in society is just as important and just as equal as others, and it is about time now. And I think the pandemic has shown it us. Shop workers, anyone who's there packing bags day in, day out for us, are all essential to make sure that life goes on as it is. And it's about time now, as a society, we sit back and go, actually, yeah, we don't need 1,500 bankers on £2.3 million a year or something crazy. What we actually need is the government to put the money into the sectors that are making the real difference in the country. Money's not everything. I get it. I absolutely get it. But as a carer who's working paycheck to paycheck, being able to be financially secure is going to be a heck of a lot better than having a wellness class that they've got included within their role. Because that's not going to pay the groceries. That's not going to pay the bill, or electric, or the fuel. At the end of the day, money is needed. And if we're going to be expected to be doing more because of the pandemic, because of COVID, and more is going to be expected of us professionally because we are skilled, then more money. There needs to be that investment.
I think Jenny summed it up in the comments. I'll pop it up. She said, the pandemic, you would have thought that it would have opened politicians' eyes to who actually is essential, which is exactly what you're saying now, Adam. It is the people that work in the supermarkets, the people that have made sure our streets are clean, the teachers, the NHS, social care staff. But yeah, they still fail to see and recognise it. It's just, I don't know, words.
And if we're honest, it's not just the politicians, because we've got a billionaires boy club going on at the moment who can be the first person to the bloody moon or whatever's going on with them. I mean, one's flying up in a phallic object that is just absolutely crazy. The other one, I don't even know what he does, and he's flying around in super jets. One of them lands back on Earth and goes, "Thanks very much for all your money, customers. I've just been into space." And we're all sat here going, "Now, can I afford dinner this week?" Oh, what world are we living in? Seriously.
I know. And sadly enough, I think we all have to say, do we honestly believe it's even going to be better by the end of 2022? I don't know. But we're all here because we care. And that's why we're all here. So I want to lighten the mood a bit anyway. So I want to know, I'm going to start because I want to probably pinch something that you three might. So I'm going to change the subject, and I want to know, out of all the weeks we've done, so I think this week's week 15.
This is episode 17, not including No Jab, No Job. This is episode 17.
Episode 17. So slap my hand. So I want to know, you three, but I'm going to go first because I'm probably going to pinch the best, I want to know which has been your favourite episode that we have done and why. So I'm going to start. So you're all going to have to think really quick if I pinch yours. But my favourite was, I think it was week 3. And it was when we had Diane on from Rights for Residents. And we have all supported Rights for Residents. And Diane and Jenny are two of the most amazing women I should ever wish to know, because they have literally campaigned absolutely tirelessly for the last 18 months now and continue to do so. They are just incredible. So we had Diane on, and we also had Shakila on, who has a son in a care home, and we spoke all about visiting in care homes. And ultimately, the reason why this is my favorite episode, because it is what brought the four of us together, because we were all very, very like-minded. We all understand, and we all read the English dictionary, that the word guidance means this is what we are guiding you to do, but you don't have to do it. It's just such a shame that the rest of the care homes and providers in the whole of England didn't follow that. And what I loved so much about it is I felt it was so empowering. And as much as it was a very sad episode, and I definitely remember having tears in my eyes when Shaquila was talking about her son Jake and how much he used to love going home and staying overnight, and how they used to love hugging him, and that hadn't been possible. So there were so many tears that night, but it's my favorite episode because it brought us together. It made us realize why we've done what we've done, all the social media that we've done, all the TV appearances, although none of us are anywhere near quite Adam's status. I mean, Piers Morgan, who's Piers Morgan? Adam Pennell, he's way up there, you know, he's way above him now, you know, but, you know, it's what we've done all this for. You know, we've done it because we care, and we've done it, but kind of on reflection, and what I really want to say is, why the hell is it still going on? Why are we still seeing pod visits, screen visits, 30-minute visits, egg timers, people having to wear gloves and aprons? And why is it still happening? Have we not proved by now that relatives are not a risk, and that by being safe, following infection control, that they are not the risk, and that contact, that physical and social contact at their time in life is more important than anything? So anybody out there, whoever watches this in the future, please reflect and wonder why you did what you did, because all four of us did what we did because we care. And we can now look back and go, we weren't reckless. We didn't really go against any law. And you know what? What we did not bring COVID into the home. But what it did was brought a shed load of happiness and love. And that's why I love that episode, because it just reminds me of why the four of us came together. So that's me. So,
just to jump on before we go to the next person, I think we all want to extend our deepest sympathies to Jenny and Diane as well. Jenny's mum, who, you know, unfortunately kick-started the Rights for Residents campaign, because Jenny and Diane were not able to go and see her, sadly passed away recently. Jenny and Diane are still committed to fighting for everybody else in this country, but the amazing woman who started the campaign is sadly no longer with us. So, you know, from all of us at the Caring View, we just want to extend our deepest sympathies as well to Jenny and Diane. Sorry to interrupt on that, Don. I just thought we needed to say something for them.
Yeah, absolutely. I completely agree with you, because it's where it all began. It's where all of us started. It's where those seeds began. And long may it continue, and may her name, you know, help lots and lots of other people, definitely. So, Mark, I'm going to come to you. So, come on, what was your favourite episode and why?
Well, I'm going to cop out because I haven't got one specific. So, I've got a few. So, I think the first episode, meeting you guys, forming the friendship during the pandemic and going live with this, and just doing something new that wasn't being done, and just, you know, off the back of this, making our Facebook page and just connecting with people that work in social care, you know, use social care, family members, you know, and just supporting people to make changes through the pandemic, you know, has been amazing. I think co-production week, which opened, you know, so many people's eyes, the feedback was amazing about how many people actually then understood what co-production was. I think last week with Jenny Mack, you know, actually having somebody on the show that has had an idea about something to do with social care, has rolled with it, has done it, and is benefiting the sector and raising awareness for them of it. And I think it's hard to find one episode because they have all been so different. But I think I'm just proud that we've raised so much awareness of each topic that we've discussed, and that so many people, there it is, he's got it now. I think it's just helped people, hasn't it? We get so many people contact us saying, actually, that was a really good episode. Where can I find out more information? Or I didn't know that. Thank you very much. And yeah, it's been, an absolute blast, raising the profile of social care, talking about, something that we all absolutely love. It doesn't ever seem like a chore logging on a Tuesday night. It just seems like something fun to do with friends, helping and benefiting the sector and the people that work in it and also use it. So yeah, I'm copping out, but I've loved every episode. I've loved the Log My Care episode. Got my free, well, not this one, but I got a free hoodie out of them. Yeah, they've all been absolutely, fantastic. And yeah, I think we'll be sad to see you go, Donna, but yeah, you'll be making sure you tune in on a Tuesday night on Catch Up.
I will, definitely. So Dawn, what about you?
I think my favourite was definitely co-production. I think I learned so much in that hour, and I know you guys were aware because we came off here and I was texting already saying, oh my God, that was amazing. I really enjoyed that. And I've carried on forward with that, and I've utilised it so much since that episode. And my other favourite was No Jab, No Job, because that was so impromptu. All of a sudden we were on it. We were all discussing it. We were there. It was like a day's notice. I think we all decided to just do it. And it was really open and honest. And we were really transparent in our views to the point where we could continue it forward the next week. And we could all incite why we had our jabs. So it carried it forward. And I loved that episode. I thought I was really nervous because usually we chat about it and we talk about it, but that was just completely off the cuff. And I think that was a really confident episode for us all. But I'm still waiting for Caroline, to be quite honest, to let me know when I'm going to go and collect my her OBE on her behalf. No, she hasn't got in contact with me yet.
Oh, it's
so
not.
I am a little bit disappointed.
It's still sat there at Buckingham Palace waiting to be collected.
So Caroline, if you need me to pop over, my Twitter messages are still open, and I'm quite happy to go and collect it for you. But yes, Donna, it's going to be horrible. It's going to be weird and it's going to be horrible. But you've got to have this amazing new job. They deserve to have you completely.
Oh, bless you, Dawn. Thank you so much, darling. Thank you. So come on then, Adam. What about you?
My favourite episode's not aired yet. It's next week when it's your last one. That's going to be my favourite.
Such a git.
You're so mean.
I tell you, he's such a git.
I don't know. It's so difficult. I think, co-production was an absolutely amazing week. I think it was absolutely fantastic. If I had to, if you would, tie my hands, it would be Living Care. I knew nothing of Living Care before we did that week. And I don't really know much what I do. I know what we learned in that episode. That's not the reason why I love that episode. I love that episode because of Callum. Having someone that, we created this platform for a reason. The platform is here for everybody, not for us to sit here and, sit on a throne and go, we know everything we're talking about. Come and listen to us because these are our views. It'd be great if we didn't talk all episode, and we're here to listen to everybody else. So to have someone who, we say to someone, what do you think of social care? Why is it so good? And we'll go, oh, because it creates jobs and opportunities. To actually just hear someone go, because it helps me live my life and it's needed and I'm friends with these people, it was just humbling. And for me, I think it was what we needed. I think it's what people needed to see. And I hope we have more of it on in the future. Obviously, the peer-to-peer support I thought was a good week. But yeah, co-production, Living Care, absolutely cracking episodes. There's just so many to choose from. Every week's good. We always use, we usually go, oh, is this week going to be good? And every single time we do it, marketing was a fab week. Absolutely fab week. Marketing Marketing is not boring. Well, a little bit sometimes, but it's not boring. And that was a cracking week. Cracking guests.
It was. So I kind of want to go a bit back further now. I want to go back to March 2020. So my next question to all of you, and I will start again. I want to know what was the best feeling you got about this whole pandemic? So every week, let's be honest, we have been negative about things. A lot of time we've been very negative about health and social care, but we've always tried to end on a positive. So what is it that you really remember from the past 18 months that is that highlight? And perhaps what is the low light but has made you change something? So I'm going to go with my highlight was, and we probably are going back now to probably April, May last year. And I can't believe the support we got from people we didn't even know. So it was the time when we were getting sent, you know, the little material things that stop the ear, that stop the face mask from rubbing behind your ears when they were the very first face mask and they were too small and they were kind of really, really sore. And then we were sent laundry bags for the staff to be able to take their clothes home in and everything. And we'd got complete strangers who we'd never, ever met before turning up on our doorstep and giving us these things. And it was just like, wow. So we talk about health and social care being undervalued and care homes being the building in a town or city that people drive past, not even realise what happens. Yet we'd got people turning up on our doorstep that we didn't even know and were giving us these things. And they wanted nothing back for it. They didn't even really want us to say thank you. It was like, but we're thinking about you and we care about you. And I just remember this just overwhelming feeling of people are actually caring about us. So even though we were feeling completely forgotten about by the government and all those who were meant to be caring about us, complete strangers were showing us such utter love. So that is the one thing that I will remember as the positive thing. The negative thing was the sheer panic, the sheer utter panic that I had no idea for the first time in all my career as registered manager. I had no idea what I was doing. And part of this show is that we make it up as we go along. Let's be honest. We'll tell you the truth. We don't prep for this. We come on a few minutes before and we actually say, what you done this week? We talk to each other. We don't prep. We just go
Talk
for
for
it.
yourself, Donna. I'm here for about 4 hours prepping. Don't know what you're doing.
But, you know, it was literally, oh, my word. I have got elderly people who I've given my entire life and my career to, and I could lose these people, and I could lose these people to this new virus. What am I meant to do? And the thing that I've learned from that is support. So I go back to a bit about my favourite episode. What I've learned from that is there's always somebody who will be there for you. And that is part of our Caring View Facebook group. We are there for anybody who works in health and social care, anybody who has somebody who lives in health and social care. If you need support, if you have a question, if you ever feel alone, there is always somebody out there who has been through what you've been through, can answer some questions for you, and can make you feel that you're not alone. So my high point was just people being unbelievably, amazingly great to us. My low point was being absolutely scared, like I've never been scared before, not knowing what I'm doing. But the good that's come out of that is realising that there's always somebody there for us. So, Adam, I'm going to come to you first. Low points and high points.
So, I don't want to reiterate what you said. I think for me, the high points, and, you know, I'll harken back to another episode that we did, you know, the co-production episode. I think one of the biggest highs of the pandemic is the the sudden shift in working together, there's been a definite cohesiveness that's come out throughout the pandemic. I mean, I've done a lot more work with my local council than I ever have done in the last 10 years. You know, sitting down, writing guidance with them and putting meetings together and planning sessions, and the ICS networks that I work in have never been as busy. And that sense of camaraderie, no matter whether it's health, local authority, or frontline social care, has been incredible. And I think without that willingness to work together, a lot of us wouldn't be in the position we are at the moment in Lancashire. So for me, that's been the absolute highlight. Low light, it's a pandemic. Can I get any lower? I think, it's an absolutely horrendous situation. Fortunately, we didn't lose anybody. And I say we lost nobody. We have a friend of ours who used to help out at the home every now and then. He sadly passed from COVID last year. It was awful. He was part of the community, and he was family. But we never lost anybody from our residence base. So for me, it was the fear that all the years of work we've done on social care to improve it, to make it better, to move away from this risk-averse idea that actually you can't do this because it's risky, and we should be empowering choices, unwise decision making. All of this stuff we were being told to do before the pandemic just went, all gone. And all these years of work, we put in the hard work of reprogramming the sector, of removing that condition and that institutionalization, and for it just to come back in the name of safety, and actually hasn't benefited anybody. The Age UK report that came out last week, towards the end of last week, has actually shown that people have really been detrimented by isolation. Falls have increased. People's mobility has reduced. There are more people with long-term health conditions living with pain that's unmanaged now. GPs haven't been going into care homes. So this idea of keeping people safe has been at the detriment of their own health. It's quite ironic. The irony, the hypocrisy of keeping people safe and actually putting them in more danger. So for me, although it hasn't affected us, it's affected way too many people in this country. Jenny and Diane's mum. Biggest low light for me is that.
Yeah, agreed. So, I mean, this report, I believe, came out this week. And obviously it's been showing, like you say, the detriment that it's had. So we all talk about COVID, and we all obviously talk about the COVID deaths. And we all know, when we mentioned last week about the huge CQC report, and the commenting on how many deaths there has been in each home, and we all made our feelings known about that. But you're right, what this report is highlighting is all those other effects of it. So deaths are extremely sad, and it's not nice to hear about them or read about them or see those figures. But we forget things like loneliness, and I say so many times, loneliness can kill. It sounds crazy to think that somebody just being on their own, can. So I'm kind of going to move on to you, Dawn, because I know that, that report sort of sits with you as well. And I know that those figures mean a lot to you. So, what are your highlights and lowlights of the year? Because I know it has been a really, really difficult, year for you. And out of the four of us, it has affected your home more than any of ours.
Yeah, I think, there are positives that come out of it. I know I talk mainly about the negatives because they had that effect on me personally, because they really affected my mental health. And that was one of the decisions why I've chosen to come out of my chosen career for so many years. But I think that my positive was, and I know some of you didn't agree with that, but was the clap for carers. Because at work, we actually made that our own. We all got the T-shirts. I'm wearing it today. We all stood in reception. We stood there with residents, and we made it our own every Thursday. I stayed really late every Thursday. We all stayed and clapped each other. So it wasn't just about the NHS and lights going on. It was about us at that time. And that was always a positive for me. I remember once I got home and Simon and the children had made a big banner saying they were clapping for me that night. And I come home and I was really emotional and it was just lovely. So the Clap for Carers thing kind of got me through and kind of got us through, because by Wednesday, you're like, oh, who's staying tomorrow night? And we're all going to clap. Another positive was, obviously, even though we had deaths, we did have some people come back and we'd clap them back. Like you saw on the telly in the hospitals, as they came back to us, we were clapping that they were returning, and they were kind of looking at us as if to say, what's wrong? What's going on? Because we were all clapping and we were elated because we had some residents who had survived COVID in hospital. So that was a positive as well. I think that the main negative for me is there was always going to be the lack of communication at the very beginning. I think that hindered social care so much that it hindered to the point where managers have left, carers have left, people couldn't cope with it. I remember watching a documentary about care homes up north where a carer was in floods of tears because she couldn't walk in a resident's bedroom who had died there anymore. And I think it's just this massive swirl of lack of communication across the board at the beginning. Nobody knew what to do, where to go. And I think that's had a detrimental effect on people in the future. So I think there are positives that come out of it, because when I look back, there are nice memories. And it sounds really weird to say that there's nice memories, but there are some nice memories. But at the same time, there's stuff that's really affected me personally and staff personally and others I know. So, yeah, I think that's mine. But the deaths thing, the CQC website, we know not to talk to me about that. So.
Yes, do not mention the CQC website.
No.
But you're right there about communication. And I think what is so sad, and I think it's been mentioned in the comments tonight, you said there, over a year ago, the communication wasn't good. So why are we this much far into it and they still haven't learned that lesson? It's like you literally want to go and shake them and go, which bit of it have you not learned from?
Yeah.
We're nearly 18 months into it now. The communication wasn't good then, and you're still not communicating properly to us now. We've learned the lesson. We know where the errors were made, but it's still not being corrected in some ways, is it? So,
no.
But I just want to say, huge well done to you, Dawn, because I always said from the very beginning, I don't know how I will feel as a registered manager if I have deaths in my home, because I would feel that it would be personal to me. And I remember the week where you gave the story where literally you sat with, the gentleman who was actually dying from it. And you've come through that. You've done that. You've come through it. And somehow you've accepted that and realized that it was not your fault at all. And it's easy to, as the registered manager, put the blame on yourself. And you've realised that it is not your fault, and it wasn't at all. And it was a fantastic care home, that you run, and you should really be proud of what you've achieved. So, we're really proud of you, Dawn, anyway, and you should be too, definitely.
I think the support on social media as well, I had never really encountered that before. I hadn't really used social media in that context until the pandemic. So having that as a source and an outlet to be able to say, I'm struggling, or this happened, or we're doing this, and sharing positive stuff as well as the negative stuff, massively helped me over the past year and a half.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, no, well done you, definitely. So finally, for that question, over to Mark. So we all know you made the ultimate sacrifice by, being apart from your family, and none of us can imagine what that's like. However, probably we can say that all our relatives may know a little bit what that feels like. But, what were the highlights and lowlights for you, Mark?
I think I'll start with the low, because I'm the last one, and then we'll end on the high. So, yeah, living away from the family for a year was definitely one of the lowest. But actually, like Dawn said, turning it into a positive, it really allowed me to connect with my relatives so that I knew exactly what they were going through. And I think it really helped when I put something in place. They knew I wasn't just putting it in place for the sake of putting it in place. They knew I was putting it in place to protect their loved ones, because it was the same kind of guidance I'd put in place to protect my own family. Yeah, it was definitely a low. I think off the back of that, then having to leave a role that I loved with a team that I actually really liked, that were great, leaving the residents that, after 4 years of supporting them, had come so far in their journeys, in the middle of a pandemic, was actually really hard. I think, you've touched on it, the lack of guidance from government and our regulator, having to sit there and decide which residents we were going to prioritise, because actually we didn't have any guidance on who we should prioritise, and trying to, tell families, actually, we're not going to prioritise your son or daughter because X, Y, Z, but actually we're going to prioritise this one. Yeah, I think seeing the impact COVID had on our staff teams, whether that was their mental health, the anxiety, the overall well-being, supporting people with actually the unknown, was actually really hard. I think for me, though, the highlights definitely has to be meeting you guys, meeting some of the other people that work in social care that I don't think I would ever have met you if it wasn't for the pandemic. If it hadn't been, getting on social media and harping on about everything I was harping on about, I don't think we would have formed so many of our little subgroups, that want to make a difference in social care. And I'm really pleased about that. Off the back of that, we've all got the green heart after our name, hashtag Green Heart for Social Care has come from the pandemic, which, I'm really proud of. I think a high for me, a selfish one, was the campaigning for the vaccine for people with a learning disability, and actually getting government to reverse their decision was a massive high for me. And I think for my team, just, witnessing them putting all their differences aside, pulling through, working as a team, just to put the service users in the middle of everything we were doing, just to support them. And like Dawn said, some of actually the last 18 months, slightly less for me, but, Christmas and Easter, obviously I wasn't with the family, so I was in the care home, whereas actually Easter was probably one of the best Easters that I've ever had. There was so much chocolate that I think we were all so sick, and having an Easter egg hunts. And I think I think I spent close to like £600 on Easter eggs. I've never had so many Easter eggs in my life. And I can bet your bottom dollar they're still finding them around the garden. It got to the point where I was literally just chucking them in the air because I didn't know where else to hide them. But yeah, memories like that. And Christmas, we made a pact that we wouldn't talk about COVID. It was just going to be fun. And there was so much food and music and dancing. And yeah, those memories will stick with me forever. But I think the biggest highlight for me is meeting you guys, this show, some of the other bits and pieces that I've done off the back of, the campaigning that I'm really proud of. So yeah, they're my highs.
Yeah.
And didn't you win a posh award this past week, Mark?
I did indeed. I won Outstanding Contribution to Social Care. Yes, thank you very much. So, yes.
Very, very well deserved, Mark. Absolutely.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, very well deserved. So I don't know about you guys, but I feel that we should kind of sort of end this show on looking forward. So we've kind of looked back, and we've looked back at the shows and everything. So, what do we think that the next year's going to hold, really? So, for me, sadly, I don't think the pandemic's over with yet. I think we've still got a way to go. We're learning to live with it. We're now not quite as fearful. We now feel more confident in the decisions that we're making. But I kind of feel moving forward. For me personally, I am looking forward to my new job because I'm looking forward to being able to help more people. And I really feel that, I can go back to, I'm the oldest out of the group here. So I remember when Margaret Thatcher was the Prime Minister in the 1980s. Margaret wasn't even born. They were still in the mother's womb back then. But I can remember when she said she was going to reform health and social care. And here we are, and they're still talking about doing it. But I think it's something that we can do between us. Yeah, we know we want the government to do loads of things, but what I'm looking forward to most in the next year is to being able to be there for others, support each other, move forward, try and empower people, try and shout out as much as possible how fantastic working in health and social care is. So, that's kind of my vision for the future. So I'm first of all going to come to Adam, because I know that you have Adam and Mark together have a massive involvement in a lot of subgroups to do with health and social care. And I know that you really want to get the word out there and try and get as many people involved as possible, don't you?
Yeah, so, I mean, like Mark says, we've achieved so much this past year that probably stuff we never even thought we'd ever achieve had there not been a pandemic. The television interviews we've done, the debates we've been part of, the campaigns we've been part of, it's all been absolutely incredible. And off that, we've met the fabulous Jane Brightman and the IHSCM, and they put together the Social Care Innovators, which as of today does have its own Twitter and LinkedIn profile. So I would urge absolutely everybody to go and follow them. If you want to join us, come and join us, because you are right. We've become fed up of waiting for this reform to happen. It's been pushed back again till autumn. So we're doing the work ourselves now. I chair the public image group, trying to make a positive image of social care out there. And we've got a ton of work that we're going to be doing, especially over the next couple of months, to shift the focus and the idea of what social care is for people, and to really engage the people who use the services and who don't use the services, who don't know about the services, to make things better, to create better recruitment opportunities, to create better lived life experiences, and to create better care outcomes. And we are going to do it. We're partnering up with some really big top names, but we're also partnering up with the people on the front line, the people who are living and breathing it every day. And that's what matters, is working with those people. It's the engagement that we're working towards now. So I can see the next 1-2 years a real change in social care. I won't be cynical and say that I wouldn't be surprised if social care collapses over the next 12 months. But I do think if we really put the hard work in and we put the effort in, things can get better. I think if we refuse to go backwards, if we refuse to go, well, actually, we're going to have to shut down care homes again. And if we all work together and go, well, no, this is what we're going to do. We're going to move forwards now. We're not going to look back. We're going to do everything safely, but we're not looking back anymore. It'd be great to go back to the old normal, but I've fallen out of love with the term old normal now, because the old normal wasn't perfect. The old normal was what we wanted to reform. So why would we go back to that? Let's not go back to, let's just skip the process of going back to the old normal, and let's just head to a better new future. It doesn't have to be normal, because what's normal for one is different for the other, but let's just move forwards now and really start to make these differences. So if you are interested, I'm going to put the Care Innovators Twitter handle up on the screen shortly. Please go and follow it. Please come and join us. Talk to myself, talk to Mark, talk to Jane Brightman. We're all here to create a better future, and we want everybody on board. It's not just for providers. It's not just for your big board execs. It's for people who are receiving care. It's for people who might not have any idea of what care is about, but really wants to bring a difference. So it really is to bring everybody together to create a better future. So that's what I'm inspired and hoping for. Maybe a bit more in my lips, but other than that, I think yeah.
Sounds absolutely brilliant. And obviously, Mark, you're a huge part of that too. And I know as well, you write, quite a lot of articles, to try and help people and give them information. So, what do you see in the next year?
Yeah, so I think, definitely I'll carry on with the column. So if anybody has any ideas that they want, me to write about, I've heard from people that wanted me to write about hydration, about personal care, and how it's more than just washing and dressing somebody. I just want the column to be something that people working in social care can just use, whether that's somebody coming straight into the sector or somebody who's worked in the sector for 15, 16 years. I think the future for me, the pandemic has made me really realize the importance of a work-life balance. And I think going forward, any role I take, that will be a massive part of the role. Whereas before I would have done, 50, 60-hour weeks and prioritize work every day. I think, like Adam said, the subgroups and shaping the future of social care, I think, is going to be a big part of going forward. This show, sadly, we're not without you, but I think this show going forward will carry on doing it. And I think actually it's reminded me the values I have and how important they are in the role that I do. And actually that I want to carry on doing that. I want to carry on campaigning. I want to carry on making a difference for social care and, raising the profile for social care. And obviously I recently joined the board of directors for NACAS. So shout out to them and all the work that they do. So I'll carry on beating the drum and on social media. So that's my future.
That's brilliant. And finally to Dawn, I just want to know, Dawn, when is Meghan going to divorce Harry and marry you so you can actually get access to the Queen, so you can get the Queen to tell the government to sort health and social care out?
I think she will. I was just about to say this. I think she will. I think she'll get involved and she'll intervene. I think she apparently it really personally upset her about the 9 words thing, and I think she will get involved in the autumn. I think since her husband's died, since the Duke of Edinburgh died, I think she'll want to get involved in more things. And I know Princess Anne is a massive advocate of the sector as it is anyway. So I think the Queen will. But I think the future just needs to be about empowerment. And I think it needs to be about continuing that empowerment of each other. I think what I'm hoping is that what we had in the pandemic with people on social media, other managers, groups, innovators groups, everything, you name it, that continues for years and years to come so everybody can continue to be supported. I think if we were to lose that now, I think that would be devastating for the sector, because I think as a group, I think we have much more power than singles here, there and everywhere. So I'm hoping for the future that empowerment continues. Definitely.
Brilliant. And honestly, it's just tonight has just been all about it, hasn't we? All we've actually done is talk about what's happened in the last year, 1 year really out of health and social care. And if we can all take something positive out of this and move forward with it. And one of the questions I always ask at interviews is, what do you think about teamwork? What can teamwork bring? Teamwork can bring absolutely everything. And that is the one thing about health and social care. It really is. So if tonight's not empowered you to know that health and social care is the most amazing place to be working, then I really don't know what is. So finally, because we are slightly over time, so I'm going to go back to Adam and let us know what we are doing next week for my last show.
Yes! No, I'm joking. I am absolutely heartbroken. I'm just an absolute brat and I'm spitting my dummy out because I'm hoping you change your mind. Yes, just to reiterate what you're saying, social care is not only a place to work, but to live out a vocation, isn't it? It's more than just a career for some people. For most people, it's a way of life. And whether it be in elderly residential, whether it be in learning disabilities, whether it be in children's services or shared accommodations or sheltered housing, extra care housing, daycare, you name it, consider it. If you really don't want the vaccine and you have to leave your care homes, don't leave the sector. You're in the sector for a reason. Go and find something you can do within the sector and reutilize your care in nature. Get the vaccine, but don't leave the sector. The sector needs the people who are in it. So as much as we will be upset to lose you from care homes, repurpose yourselves, go elsewhere, and keep the sector going. It's a fantastic place to be. We love it. We absolutely love it. So next week, I'm really excited. We have Napa joining us. Hilary Woodhead will be joining us to talk about activities, and we don't mean activities just like bingo and playing cards, right? But what it really means to keep occupied whilst living in care, or living with care no matter where you are. So it's going to be a fantastic discussion. NAPA, the National Activities Providers Association, a fabulous organisation for care providers. It's just going to be wonderful. So if you are interested in activities, if you're interested in keeping people entertained, stimulated, to make life meaningful, to produce decent well-being for people, please join us. It's going to be a fantastic discussion. And yes, it will be Donna's swan song, and she has promised us, because for those who don't know, Donna is part of a rock choir, and Donna has promised us she's going to sing us a goodbye song next week.
No,
So,
I am not.
absolutely excited. We can't wait for it, and Donna's just waiting to pick the song. So tune in next week, and Donna will be singing for us. So until then, mwah, bye-bye from us all, and we will see you soon. Thank you again for joining us tonight on The Caring View. If you enjoyed tonight's episode, make sure you hit that subscribe button, and whilst you're here, check out some of the other videos that we've got up online. If you've got something that you think may be interesting for us to discuss, or if you want to guest spot with us, then drop us an email to thecaringview@gmail.com. Follow us on Twitter, find us on Facebook, all the information is down there in the description box. But until then, have a good evening, stay safe, and we'll see you next week.